Good day to all of us, especially to Professor De Chavez. I hope all of us are in a good spirits despite this weltering hot weather. I am Edcel ESCARO from BSE English 2A, and for this video, I will be discussing the behind the scenes of my concept paper entitled Less is More, the MATATAG curriculum's fundamental basis in the current complex systems. I will be streamlining the concept paper in this video, and I will be focusing more of my argument and the justifications for that matter. Without further ado, let's start now by explaining my title that I have used for this concept paper. The title navigates the seemingly fundamental nature of the MATATAG curriculum and solving the complexities and intricacies of the K-12 basic education curriculum. While employing basic ways on major systems are a commonplace, this is all the more crucial with the education landscape today. And this is particularly true because not always you need complex answers for complex solutions. This is particularly true in the education system. Not because we want simple solutions for bringing back primitive systems. No, that's not the case. But in my view here is that if we're going to answer those complex problems in a grassroots level, you gotta start from the basics. You gotta start finding for the simple solutions that aim to consider the diverse backgrounds and the needs of the learners all over our country. That does not always translate to complex solutions. It can simply mean simple or fundamental or some adjustments that pertain to the basic rights of the people. We don't need become too much bougie with that one. And MATATAG curriculum, being a historical moment that it is considered as a fundamental curriculum for me. With the whys of it, I will explain later on. So I said that earlier that there are societal considerations with curriculum development. It gives reasons why changes in curriculum development are necessary. One is technological advancements. Technological advancements are all over the world in many years. And for our education sector to continually be at par with the times, with the trends of the innovations of the world, we need to legislatively or legally add it to our curriculum. It is for the best of our teachers and students to employ it and its high legal potential. Number two are learner-centered pedagogies. This is not 1900s anymore where teacher-centered pedagogies are a thing. We need to consider learner-centered pedagogies for us to make sure that the learners absorb the learnings effectively, that they keep it to their interests and their abilities. And on the other side, they use it and apply it into real-life scenarios. That's when we know that our curriculum is effective if the students are able to adapt to it even in situations outside the school. Lastly, socio-economic considerations. As we embrace an education for all mantra, it is very important to consider the people from all around the country, despite their differences and diverse backgrounds such as in financial capabilities, religion, regions, political beliefs, cultures, traditions, so on and so forth. It is important for us to have an adjusted, contextualized curriculum that suits their needs, that suits their inclusivity, to make sure that no learners are left behind despite us being an archipelago and despite us having some troubles with our education system in general. Overall, curriculum adjustments are made to keep in touch with the society at large, with the world at large. It is done for us to make sure that considerations are to make sure that we are at pace for better results as time goes by. Now here on my last part of my title explanation, this just proves that the MATATAG curriculum, or my paper pertaining to MATATAG curriculum, aims to establish a stand that even the simplest solutions can provide order to the underlying conditions of the current complex systems. So later on, as I say my main argument and justifications, let's dig in deeper with what MATATAG curriculum really is and how fundamental it really is. At this juncture, let us discuss the background information about the MATATAG curriculum and the reasons for change from the K-12 education system. These are included on my concept paper, so I will now only streamline it in this video. So first, the MATATAG curriculum was promulgated in 2023 by the vision of Vice President and Department of Education Secretary Inday Sara Duterte. Known by its mantra, Bansang Makabata, Batang Makabansa. It is considered to be a calibrated K-10 curriculum under the current K-12 system. According to DIWA Learning Systems, the MATATAG has 4 salient features. One is the reduction of learning areas from 7 to 5, the decongestion of learning competencies, the improvement of learning progressions, and new and reintroduced subjects for moral and values education. And as of now, it is at phased trials in 35 schools all around the country, with its ultimate plan being the implementation on the next school year for students in kinder, grades 1, 4, and 7. So moving on, having known this background information, let's go on to the questions that everybody asks. Why change? Because the K-12 curriculum is a great vision, envisioned by former President Benigno Aquino III. But then again, with those solutions, another set of problems come, and those kind of problems have been the difference makers in the promulgation of the MATATAG curriculum. First one is that the K-12 basic education system was criticized for being a burden financially for students and parents. According to a study by Kabataan Party List, a student who wants to enter the senior high school program or SHS program will need to earn 200,000 pesos or will need to have 200,000 pesos for those food, transportations, other school fees, and other requirements. And for a family of low socioeconomic class, 200,000 pesos seems very, very big. And it chalks up to for 2 years of senior high school programs. That's kind of a big, or kind of like eating up the savings of the family to be used for their necessities. And because of it, 5 petitions have been raised since its implementation in 2013 to stop the promulgation or the implementation of the K-12 program in the country. Aside from it, there are doubts in the corporate region with the skills of the senior high school graduates once they reach the workplace. Many companies have said that they are skeptical of the skills that many students possess with regards to their readiness to conquer the world of labor. And also, students confirm this idea, saying that more companies will just opt to employ college graduates instead of senior high school graduates. And this is kind of disappointing considering that K-12 hails senior high school graduates as being labor ready or job ready. There are less opportunities than expected for them. Third one here, for the change reasons, is that the curriculum or the current curriculum was considered crowded and overloaded. It puts great demands on teachers and students to attain multiple learning expectations without assurance of mastery. And this is eventually true because even grade 1 students, they have to learn 7 subjects on a short period of time. A junior high school student are looking to learn or complete many school works on a limited school periods of time, and teachers wishing to teach them effectively while being bombarded with many administrative tasks. Those things alone define the rigidness of the K-12 curriculum because it fails to deliver to its promise of quality education when its curriculum workload is truly exhausting for both teachers and students. Lastly, international assessments such as in PISA, they have noted the dismal performance of Filipino students in key learning areas such as in science, mathematics, and even in English. It puts doubts with the K-12's efficacy and efficiency, and putting students into great absorption of learning. And despite the fact that it has been a opportunistic curriculum, not only in the local but also in the international context, it has failed to provide the needed learning, the needed global competencies for students to progress. It's more even kind of worrisome that basic literacy skills are not attained effectively by the students. So those four reasons alone prompted a review for the creation of the MATATAG curriculum. And here we go. I am now presenting the main arguments of the fundamental side of the MATATAG curriculum. Now let's move on to discussing the main arguments and the supporting justifications of my argument for my concept study. For true available literature, I aim to strengthen the notion that the MATATAG curriculum is a fundamentalist curriculum that counters the complex nature of the K-12 curriculum. I argue here that despite the complex systems of K-12 curriculum, the one that makes it in order or in pace with time is a fundamentalist curriculum. So it feels like, again, a juxtaposition, knowing that fundamental means basic, simple, and core. And when you compare it to the curriculum development, it kind of feels like off. But hear me out. I will present 3 justifications of this being a core curriculum, a basic, a simple curriculum. Number 1 is that the reduction of subjects in the K-10 curriculum from 7 to 5, and in addition to the decongestion of learning competencies, it is done to only cater the needs of the young minds. It decompresses their school loads, prioritizing proper learning sequences. So in this regard, I will share 3 of 4 salient features of the MATATAG curriculum according to DIWA learning systems. Number 1 is the compression of subjects from 7 to 5. As you can see in the table, the MATATAG curriculum features 5 subjects, with 2 of those being compressed integrated subjects of the former curriculum. One is Makabansa, integrated AP and MAPE, and GMRC being an adjusted ESP or Edukasyon sa Pagpapakatao. So implications of a reduced or compressed subjects is that there are fewer subjects that students in the primary level have to focus on. They do not have to be pressured in catering to multiple subjects because they are lesser subjects to work on. And as expected, there are more time to focus on other subjects. There is more time to focus without being pressured for other scholastic demands of other subjects that may be deemed unnecessary for their growing minds. Aside from it, as you can see on the next slide here, is the decongestion of the learning competencies. Under the K-12 curriculum, we have 11,738 learning competencies. Under the MATATAG curriculum, it has a 70% decrease of competencies to only 3,664. The decongestion of learning competencies does not mean the lessening of learnings inside the school. It essentially means that learning progression is being guided, and those removed are those ones that are stagnant in nature. They are repetitive and they don't serve the purpose of proper learning sequences for students. So by highlighting the important learning competencies, it focuses on learning the necessary skills, the fundamental basics, the fundamental skills, and the basic aptitudes that the students in primary level need to know. Lastly, another salient feature of the MATATAG curriculum is the improvement of learning progressions. It aims to ensure that those knowledge or those informations that they have gathered during a specific grade level will be transferred and will be used efficiently on the coming grade levels. For example, a student in grade 1 will not learn separate English and Filipino subjects because the focus is only on his language and his reading and literacy skills. Those aptitudes from those subjects will only be used in separate occasions in English and Filipino come grade 2. So hindi na po siya hiwalay. It is integrated to cater on the necessary skills and the fundamental attitudes of the students. And once again, with proper learning progressions, we avoid stagnation of learning, ensuring that the students traverse from the known to the unknown using the knowledge that is deeply ingrained with him. Overall, this is a fundamental approach to education, a fundamental approach to learning, because it ensures that the basics are learned properly and are used effectively. Next justification of the MATATAG curriculum being a fundamentalist curriculum is that it embraces a nation-first approach by putting more emphasis on the peace education curriculum. Let's stop over there. What is a peace education curriculum? A peace education curriculum is a term coined by Vice President Sara Duterte during the introduction of the MATATAG curriculum last 2023. It includes the promotion of non-violent actions and the strengthening of problem-solving and conflict resolution skills among learners. Going back to our concept, it is fundamental in nature because it focuses on the necessary skills that the students need to know and the awareness of the conflicts and problems not only in the community context but also in the national and international systems. If we're aware of the political situations of our country, we are being bombarded with many scandals of our political disputes. More so, our country is being sandwiched by different territorial conflicts such as in China and the US. And many problems such as in criminality in the country are still being addressed, and there is no room for such decrease to happen. So I think this one is a fundamental curriculum on the grounds that it teaches and it highlights the fundamental right of security in the country and on the student after all. For the student, it gains their fundamental right of awareness with the issues around him. It is for him to work thoroughly, work effectively into solving and keeping peace within pay without resorting to violence or without resulting to conflict with other people. In the national context naman, it aims to present a fundamental or basic right to security to protect itself against the threats of foreign bodies or foreign entities like terrorism, domestic violence, international interventions, and many more that may cause our country to go into shambles when we are not going to solve this ASAP. I think peace education is a fundamental right that is a good welcome sight for us to protect ourselves and to highlight the value of morality, that despite our turmoil that we are facing right now in our country, it is still best to solve this with ease. It is better to solve this in proper methods for us to develop a sense of security, not only with our community, but also in our country. Lastly, another avenue of the MATATAG curriculum being a fundamental curriculum is that the curriculum, along with the more recent DepEd orders, it presents a more humane approach and education that values responsibility, compensation, and freedom with response to time. So if my first justification focuses on the fundamental skills that the students need to know, the second one focuses on the fundamental right of security and awareness of our international awareness to our security and our peacemaking attitudes. The third one naman, it focuses on our fundamental rights for the students to attain quality education and the quality time for teachers naman, because they are presented with the fundamental right to attain or to access freedom from their academic endeavors. So as seen in the slide, may mga DepEd orders na sinabi. So let's explain two of them in a jiffy. So Department Order Number 2 Series of 2024 aims to immediately remove administrative tasks vested to public school teachers. It aims for the school teachers to focus more thoroughly on teaching the students effectively inside the classroom. Now, Department Order Number 5 Series of 2024 rationalizes the teacher's workload and gives incentives and proper payments for teaching overloads. Shall the teachers be vested with administrative tasks inside the school? So these things just make sense because for the teachers, it gives them the right to have their time outside of their profession, for them to spend quality time with their family, for them to attend their classes, shall they be taking their masterals or doctorals, or for them to accept additional sideline jobs to help them in surviving his needs for the family and himself in this life. And ano naman, for students naman, it also gives them a good avenue that they are now assured that they will receive quality education because the teachers are ready for them to teach effectively and efficiently without the fears of burdening administrative workload. It translates to better learning situations, and it even translates to better connections from the teacher to student interactions. Once again, it presents a fundamental need for us educators and learners to have awareness of ourselves din naman. Our fundamental right to live, to attain quality education, and to attend to our needs outside education. As I end this video, let me share my final thoughts and opinions about my arguments and justifications about the MATATAG curriculum. MATATAG curriculum, in conclusion, is a fundamentalist curriculum on the grounds that it reminds us, learners and educators, of our fundamental rights as members of this educational cycle. It reminds us of our rights to become aware of our security, our rights to freedom, and our rights to our attaining of our basic education, imbued with the proper skills that are necessary for growth and progress in the local and international context. However, despite the fact that I've said that this is fundamental in nature or by structure, by implementation, it's a different story. After all, there is no curriculum that is easy to bear. Hence, it is our responsibility for our future learners or future educators to become more aware of the systems imbued into it. It is our responsibility as educators to become knowledgeable in employing these methods as we go along with our professional lives. And we should be aware of it so we can fight for it and we can ask for changes shall we see that the implementation stands no good at par with the K-12 education system. After all, I applaud the efforts of the Department of Education with the MATATAG being a game changer. But it remains to be seen if it will be a history maker and the grounds that it will change our education system for the better. That is all from my concept paper presentation. I am Edcel ESCARO, and see you on the next one.